There's a mountain range on the roof of the world where the air is too thin to carry a scream. No roads, no towns, no witnesses, which is exactly why on this particular night, the sky above it tears open a gate. Deep, dark blue. The temperature crashes so hard the stone starts to crack, and out of the gate steps something that was ancient before mankind learned to make fire. The Monarch of Frost. A being that doesn't conquer worlds, it closes them entirely. It sweeps its gaze across the peaks, and it sounds almost bored. Once again, the ones I seek are not here. The fragments of brilliant light are quite elusive. Then a second gate opens behind it, and what comes through this one is massive. A shape so big the mountains have to make room for it. A creature the Monarch of Frost greets by name, Yogumunt. Two monarchs, two kings from the far side of the gates, meeting in secret on a dead mountain to talk about one thing, a small strip of land in the east. But here's what neither of those monsters realize quite yet. They are not alone. On this mountain, standing in the dark below them, is a man. One man. No raid team, no backup, no cameras, just a single human being on foot at the top of the world, listening to two gods plan a war. And when those gods finally notice him, they're going to laugh. They're going to call him a weakling, and that will be the single worst mistake either of them makes in this entire chapter. Because who that man is, why he's up there, what he's been doing in the dark for all these years, and his name is going to hit you like a knife. Around this campfire, we don't give away the end. This is Solo Leveling Chapter 111. This chapter of Solo Leveling stops being a story about one hunter and quietly becomes a story about a war. In Solo Leveling Chapter 111, a king screams for his army and gets answered by silence. The system, the thing that built Jin-Woo, closes a witness's mouth forever, right in front of him, and a key begins a countdown to the one room on this planet Sung Jin-Woo swore he'd never see again, the room where he died. Which brings us back to the mountain, back to the two kings at the top of the world, because now you're ready to hear what they actually said. The Monarch of Frost is hunting something, pieces of light, hidden somewhere on this planet. Beings that can end worlds are searching Earth inch by inch, and they cannot find them. File that away. Then Yogumunt arrives and brings news. I've come to inform you about the land of the east. The small strip of land, Frost asks, that is where the Monarch of Shadows resides. Let that title crawl down your spine for a second. The Monarch of Shadows, the King of the Dead. Even the other monarchs say that name carefully, and according to Yogumunt, he is somewhere on that small strip of land in the east. Yogumunt keeps going. It seems the rulers are planning to set Legia free. Look a little south. Whatever Legia is, and this chapter refuses to tell you, remember this. It had to be set free. Things that get released were locked up for a reason. Say a quiet prayer for Japan and stay by this fire. That storm is coming. The Monarch of Frost narrows his eyes. And what about the Monarch of Shadows? As long as the architect fulfills our agreement, Yogumunt answers, there should be no problem. An agreement between the monsters circling this planet and something called the architect. Nobody in this story has ever said that word before. Now hold it in your mind. Then Yogumunt says the line that redraws the map of this war entirely. There is one more piece of news. It has been confirmed the greatest fragment of brilliant light is there. The Monarch of Frost actually laughs. The thing they have hunted across worlds, the largest piece of it, is sitting on the same small strip of land as the Monarch of Shadows. Every road in this story now runs through one tiny country, and that is the exact moment the Monarch of Frost stops smiling. But more importantly, it seems we were lured here. Two of the most powerful beings in existence go very still because they just did the math. The traces they followed, the trail that led them to this frozen empty place where no one on Earth would see what happens next, they thought they were hunting. They were actually being trapped. The air behind them trembles, and a presence steps out of the dark. The monarchs look at him, and they sneer. Someone like him could not possibly possess the power of a fragment, Frost says. I was wondering why he left traces behind. It seems he means to interfere again. Yogumunt doesn't even turn all the way around. We do not have time to play games with this weakling. And the man, out of everything those two gods just said, the fragments, the architect, the greatest light, here is the only sentence he responds to. The small strip of land in the east. Are you referring to South Korea? That's the tell. That is the whole man in one question. Whatever is on that small strip of land, it's his. Frost scoffs. What is it to you? The gates begin to open. Try to catch us. Not so fast, the man says, and the temperature in his voice drops below anything the Monarch of Frost has ever produced. I will not let you escape. And then the man moves. In the blink of an eye, he is inside their guard, and the Monarch of Frost's eyes go wide. And for the first time in this entire chapter, something ancient looks surprised. The top of the world erupts. Two monarchs against one man. And not one of the three is holding back. So who is this man? He's not a ruler. He's not a fragment of anything. He's a human being. And here's the problem with that. This particular hunter has been dead for years. A long time ago, this man said goodbye to his family, walked into a gate like it was an ordinary day at work, and never came back out. The man two monarchs just dismissed as a weakling is Sung Hwan, Sung Jin-Woo's father. Back to Jinwoo. Inside a red gate, and if you're new to solo leveling, a red gate is the kind that shuts behind you. No exit, no retreat. The only way out is through whatever lives inside. And what lives inside this one is a king. Picture a throne room carved out of raw stone. A monster the size of a building. For days now, this thing has been listening to its kingdom die. Reports stopped coming in. Patrols went out and never came back. Tunnel by tunnel, hall by hall, the sounds of its empire went quiet, until the only thing left breathing in the dark was the king itself. And then a figure walks into the throne room, slow, calm, human. The king looks down at the intruder, and it actually chuckles. So you are the one who has been killing my comrades. It leans forward. First, I must applaud you. I'm impressed that someone of your short stature made it all the way to the heart of this place. And you even speak our language. The amusement drains out of his voice. But this is as far as you go. The king rises off its throne and roars into the tunnels. My warriors are hiding nearby. Come out. Nothing. No footsteps, no war cries, not one stone shifting in the dark. Just a silence so complete it has weight. Jinwoo tilts his head. Short? He says. That's funny. Then quietly, almost gently, he gives his own command. Come forth. And the floor answers him. Shadows peel up out of the stone like the dead standing at attention. Igris the knight, Baru the king that butchered S-rank hunters on Jeju Island, now kneeling at the man who beat him. Tank, Iron Tusk, an army of death assembling behind one human being in total silence. And scattered through those ranks, the king sees faces it recognizes. Its scouts, its guards, its hidden warriors. Every soldier it just screamed for is already standing in the room on the wrong side. It seems there is no one left, Jinwoo says. The king starts to tremble. What happened? One word. Begin. What follows is not a battle, it's a formality. Igris strikes first. Baru moves like a bad rumor. Tank walks straight through everything in his path, and when two monsters leap at Jinwoo from above, they simply never land. Iron drops on the king from behind. Baru takes an arm, Igris takes a leg. The giant comes down crashing onto the floor. And then Tusk begins to chant, and gravity itself picks a side, folding the king flat against the stone onto the rock spiderwebs beneath it. And through all of it, Jinwoo never rushes. He just walks slow, unhurried footsteps across the wreckage of an empire until he's standing at the king's head. Now, he says, answer my questions. Cooperate, and I will make this less painful. Because understand, Sung Jin-Woo did not carve through an entire red gate for treasure. He came for answers. For a while now, he's been catching on to whispers in the dark. Whispers of kings, of monarchs, of something enormous moving behind the gates. And every single time he corners a creature strong enough to know the truth, the king opens its mouth to speak. and immediately dies mid-breath, mid-sentence. No blade touched it, nothing in the room moved. Its eyes simply empty out, and the strongest creature in the entire gate is gone, like something reached down and switched it off. Jinwoo clicks his tongue. In the end, I learned nothing. The system interfered again. Sit with that sentence for a second. The system, the blue screens, the daily quest, the thing that took the weakest hunter alive and rebuilt him into this. It is not just watching Sun Jin-Woo, it is silencing witnesses. Every time an answer gets too close to his ears, the system reaches into the room and closes the mouth it's coming out of permanently. So ask yourself the question this chapter is begging you to ask. What does the thing that made him not want him to know? And Jinwoo, he doesn't rage, he doesn't even frown, he just says, "It doesn't matter, I will learn everything in time," and opens his inventory, which is either supreme confidence or a countdown. And a countdown is exactly what he pulls out next from his inventory. Jinwoo takes out a key. Months ago, the system handed him a cursed random box, a locked reward with conditions it refused to explain. And then, during the Jeju Island raid, in the middle of the worst battlefield on Earth, Sung Jin-Woo did something no human being had ever done. He crossed level 100. The conditions were met. The box opened. This is what was inside. A notification chimes. You may now read part of this item's descriptions. Key to the Kartenon Temple. Type. Key. Difficulty. Unknown. The designated gate will appear after a certain amount of time has passed. Time remaining 417 hours, 17 days. The room is the Kartenon Temple. That's where he died. That's where the system found him. That's where the player was born. And now the system is calling him back to the beginning. Jinwoo stares at the key and the memories come flooding back. The double dungeon, the statues, the darkness between them. Things have changed, he says quietly. I'm not the same as I was back then. If all this was planned from the beginning, if something has been waiting for me to return there, the key glows, then wait for me. I'm coming.